SBG enthusiasts from everywhere, I think, according to YouTube. Pretty cool. It's that time of the week again. It is time for another episode of P&P. Lots been going on, lots of changes, or not changes, I'm sorry, lots of developments. Obviously, the previous weekend, what with Articon and stuff, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of people touching on it. Basically, I'm going to let sleeping dogs lay. I'm going to have a little bit about it at the end, just to talk about some of the folks that participated from our side of the pond. But this one's going to be a little different. So, to start things off, as always, usually, most of the time, today's pint of choice. Yep, going old school here. The original. We're going back to the Rolling Rock, because that's what I want to drink today. That's it. There's no other reason other than that. It's delicious. It is a fantastic beer. I enjoy it. It is my beer of choice. Now, as I've developed a more mature enjoyment of beer as I've gotten older. It's made by Latrobe Brewing Company, but not really, because it's made by Anheuser-Busch. They say on the website that it's made in Pennsylvania, but it in fact is not. I believe it's made in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it was an independent. Anheuser-Busch picked it up 2006, I think it was. Anyways, it's still good, still delicious. Obviously, it's nice to support the little guys, but I do enjoy this beer, and I'm going to continue to enjoy this beer. So, that is the pint. So, today's discussion, I wanted to talk about motivation, staying motivated within our hobby. That is definitely a challenge that we've all faced at one time or another. Staying on top of sort of our hobby to-do list, as well as competing, other competing factors, within life. So there's so many things pulling our attention these days. Whether it's video games, other game systems, movies, television, everything is so in depth now. There's so many ways to enjoy anything. When you look at not just the hobby, but take for example, the Lord of the Rings, the movies. There's the appendices. There's the extended editions. There's everything in life now has extra content. You're looking at some instances 6-12 hours of additional content. So how does one manage his time where he can still enjoy everything he wants to enjoy, but still get time for the hobby? And this is such a multifaceted hobby. What with the gameplay, the competitive side, the painting, the building, the terrain, it's hard to stay focused without a doubt. So I know I myself, for example, I used to play a lot of miniature games, a lot of different miniature games. I was Flames of War, Bolt Action, X-Wing, Star Trek, Naval, zombies, aliens, you name it, I did it. I even did dabble in 40K back like 2nd edition. Haven't played it since. Have no interest in playing it. I am hooked on Lord of the Rings. So a lot of that stuff now, for me at least, has disappeared. I've gotten rid of it. I did keep some stuff just because I like having it. It's in a display case and I don't want to get rid of it. So, but other than the games, I also enjoy shooting sports. I enjoy hunting, carving and making walking sticks, as well as running a small hobby farm, for those of you who don't know. And I also have a full-time job, a 9-year-old little girl, and a wife. So I am no stranger to the struggles that exist trying to find time to hobby. So I just wanted to share with you sort of my how I stay motivated, how I find the time to do things, just some pointers to help you guys along if you find it helpful. Everybody's circumstance is going to be different. Everybody's going to handle things differently. Everybody's going to do things differently. If you can take one thing away from what I say here in the next, let's ballpark it, 15 minutes, great. If you take nothing away, go get yourself a beer and enjoy. Okay? So, number one thing for me is vision. You have to have a vision. You have to have a goal. Whether it's preparation for an event, be it Nova, be it just a local competitive event, standard OSBGL event, standard GBHL event, whatever league or whatever game system you're part of, as long as you have a vision and a goal. That's something that is achievable, realistic. The hobby gives a terrific sense of completion for all of us, whether it's the modeling aspect, whether it's playing a game and getting a victory, playing a game losing, but becoming a better player, understanding why you lost, understanding how you could have done things differently. All of that relates back to a sense of accomplishment. The challenge of completing a goal is a huge driver. If you don't set yourself a goal, you're going to miss out on that sense of completion. A lot of people, 100%, this is just something they do to relax. They come down, there's no rush, there's no nothing. That is absolutely fantastic if that works for you. For me, I have to have a goal. So I have to say, I want to get 3 goat riders base coated today. Or I want to get all the ground flock down on this particular piece of terrain. That way, when you get that done, you get that excellent sense of accomplishment. You set your next goal, off you go. Particularly because I'm new to this hobby, as far as Lord of the Rings Hobbit goes. I'm really playing catch up. I last year this time had very minimal models. I now have a ridiculous amount of models to paint. I'm enjoying painting them. It doesn't feel like work, but I need to set myself goals in order to keep moving forward to get that collection into the cabinet, get it painted, get it tabletop ready so that I can enjoy it. So that for me is huge, paramount. Vision, goal, massive. Space. Have a space. For those of you who've been following the channel, I just recently completed my own OHA forge. Some of us are not that lucky to have the space for to do what I did. I'm very fortunate I did. Even when I didn't, though, I still had a little spot that was my own. It was just a table / workbench, some nice lighting over top of it, in the middle of a dungeon basement. I mean, it was no Cadillac, let me tell you, but it was mine, and I could have projects out, I could have paints out. It wasn't going to disturb anybody. That for me was huge. You always have to have space, even if it's space is in the corner of the couch while you're sitting with your family watching a movie and you have a TV tray. That's your space. That is your, if that is where you're comfortable, then make sure you're there when you're doing your hobbying so that you're comfortable and you're enjoying it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think that's fantastic. I, for a time, did have a painting station upstairs so that I could be with my family while they were, watching TV or doing whatever they were doing, and still be there and still be, part of the general environment. Unfortunately, my hobby just sort of ballooned and exploded to the point where I required a room. As a matter of fact, I require a building, which is quite sad, but we'll get there. The building is coming, just not right now. So that brings me to a very important point, which is support. I know I could not do what I do in this hobby without the support of my wife. All those things that I listed above. Obviously, I forgot to mention I create content for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anything for the OHA that we need, preparation for tournaments. I mean, there's so much outside of just my regular hobby that is now taking up time to do other things to help promote the hobby, help promote SBG, help promote the OHA. So all that cuts into my hobby time. Just fortunate it's part and parcel to the hobby. So it's great because it motivates me to get armies painted for events or demos or whatever it is we're doing. So, but support, key. My wife is fantastic. I hope you all have that same support mechanism in place, where they're able to help out, maybe do something to free up an hour for you so that you can come down and paint or do whatever it is you're going to do. Support's huge. For those of you who are single, don't pay attention to this section, unless like your dog supports you. I don't know. Don't care. I'm talking about people who have family and other obligations and things. And even if you're single, you got other obligations, man. Like, you gotta go to the bar and try to be not single, right? I would hope. So, that takes away from time. So you need support there to have time to go do that and break away from your hobby, right? So it's almost flipped for you guys, which is cool, but not me. Anyways, that's it. Support other areas of life, huge draw on the hobby, but having that support mechanism in place gonna help you along big time. Next point, yes, back to writing. I know it's terrible. Short, controlled sessions, and again, this is my opinion. I find I work a whole lot better when I pick a task to do that task, take a break. So, in the example of, let's see if this will focus. In the example of my Go Riders, each one of these colors was laid on at a separate time at one sitting. So I would say all of the fur, I'm going to base coat all the fur on all of the individuals. Now, obviously there's multiple colors on that, but still, that's it. Once I got done that, got up, grab a beer, sit back, relax. Break up your sessions. For larger tasks like that, for the fur, I think I was 35 minutes to paint all the fur on the 9 Goat Riders. Keep it short. Pick a color, pick one thing, pick a strap, pick the spear, pick all the chainmail. Obviously I start with the larger things, so I would pick the fur, or I'll pick the plate mail and the chainmail. Then I'll go through and do all the skin. Then I'll go through and do the different beards. Then I'll go through and do the spear, and then I'll go through and do the hooves. But do it all broken up. I know it sounds silly. It for me goes so much smoother. It doesn't feel like work. You don't get stressed out. You just do the one color, move on. Do all your base colors, then come back and apply the exact same principle to when you apply your washes. Do your one wash. Give it lots of, that's the best time to drink beer. When you're washing, oh man, premium drinking time right there. You got to give it lots of time to set. I like to give it up to 40, 45 minutes. Some guys like to do an hour. Some guys like OJ George sit there with a hair dryer and blow dry them, which is cool. But I have other things to do, so I won't be doing that. But keep it short. Pick something, do it, move on. Right? That's how I get as much painted as I've been able to get painted this year, and it has not felt like a daunting task, simply because I'm working away at it. I have a goal, I have an end date. These need to be ready for Nova. They should be a lot farther than they are, but they're not. But they're progressing well, is the point. I still have almost 3 weeks, I think. If I come down and lay a color on a night, one color, I'm golden. If I do 2, I'm even better. So it's not a problem, completely achievable. But that's the pattern you want to get into, at least in my opinion. It works terrific. Way better than trying to paint a single model to completion. Starting with one, paint one, move on to the next. Your consistency, unless you're recording all your colors, your consistency is going to be all over the place. Even something as simple as you do one color one day on the one miniature. You then go back to paint another single miniature. You grab your red, and you don't quite shake your red the same way that you shook the red the other day. That red is going to be different, I'm telling you. The pigments are going to be sitting down at the bottom. Maybe you didn't shake it correctly. You're going to have a different tone of red. It's just small things like that. That's why when you're doing a batch, pick a unit. Pick your Goat Riders. Do all your Goat Riders at once. Break it up. I mean, I'm only going to have 12 Goat Riders. That's not terribly unachievable. If you've got 8 warbands of Iron Hill Dwarves to paint, you're going to get a little variation in that. Don't worry about it. But the specific units that you want to make sure look like a coherent unit with the same look and feel, do them all at the same time, is my recommendation. And again, that all comes back to vision. That's your vision. You came down and you said, I want to have all of the horns painted on the Rams today. That's my goal. That's my vision. It's those small victories, the small senses of accomplishment that are going to drive you to then pick another one and another one and another one, and eventually you're going to have a painted model where now you got to base it. That's it. It just keeps rolling on through that. So next is community. I am very new to the community. Again, with SBG, that was sort of the jump-in point. Always had a YouTube account for other wargaming stuff. Didn't really do a whole lot of Lord of the Rings stuff, obviously, because I wasn't into it. But same time frame a year ago, got into it. Met up with OHA George. We kind of formed the OHA and it's now grown to what it is, which is absolutely terrific. But this type of communication venue for me drives me to complete more models. Not everybody's going to want to do videos. Not everybody's going to want to sit in front of the camera and talk. But it drives me. So even something as simple as just posting photographs on whether it's Instagram or Facebook, it's a huge help. To get input, comments, likes. It just builds your confidence. The community is great. Very rarely do you get somebody that comes on and says, "Well, that looks like complete dog shit." It just doesn't happen. We've got a great community. Everyone's super supportive. They may give you pointers on how you could improve, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As a painter, you should always constantly be trying to improve. If you sit back and you say, that model is absolutely perfect, there's nothing that I could improve on in that model, you should not be hobbying. You should be painting frescoes at the Sistine Chapel, not painting miniatures in your basement. That's my opinion. Anyways, so community, huge. Get involved. Get your stuff up. Use it. It's a great knowledge base. It is an excellent venue forum to, A, promote the hobby, and B, get that input from more experienced, seasoned people, commissioned painters that do nothing but paint these things, that are willing to give you free pointers. I mean, it's like being at a classroom, guys. It's free, and it's there. You can access it whenever you want. So you can go back on and say, well, where was that post where the guy showed me how to do beards? I'm going to look for that. It's a fantastic tool. We should all be adding to it to help grow the knowledge base in the hobby. Finally, don't force it. I find that is my largest stumbling block, because I'm generally working to a deadline, because I am an absolutely terrible procrastinator. Even though, I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm saying, lay a color on a night. Well, my problem is I go, yep, this is what you should do, and then I don't do it. So do as I say, not as I do. But that's why I don't do it, is I do not want to force it. If I come home from work and I do not want to be down here and I don't want to be painting, I don't force myself to do it, because I'm not going to be happy with the outcome. I'm going to be forcing every brush stroke. It's going to feel tedious, and it's going to feel like work. You have to ensure your motivation is there. You have to ensure that you are motivated to reach that vision or goal. That's what you need to do. I find if I hit a rut like that, watching source material for whatever it is I'm working on, so in this case The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, something of that nature, listening to the soundtrack, jumping on Facebook, trying to get motivated by looking at other people's works. How did they do their Goat Riders? How did they do their Chariot? What kind of custom things can I do? Gets you back excited, gets you thinking. Next thing you know, you're going to be back down at your workbench doing what you need to do. So do not force it. Even if you have a competition in 2 days and you have to be painting right now, but you do not want to do it, go get a beer and don't do it. And then maybe after that beer, you're going to want to do it. You're going to sit down on the couch and watch The Hobbit and go, I want to paint. Down you go, but don't force it. Do not force it. So that is my sort of 6 pointers, I guess, for staying motivated. So that's gone. Don't need that anymore. Let's touch real quick on Articon. Want to say a big congratulations to the OAS BGL guys. Just a second. The joys of being in a basement, there's stuff that turns on randomly while you're filming a 18-minute video, and your editing skills are not good enough to go and cut that out and then cut it back in. So you're going to put up with that for a minute. Anyways, Evan, Garrett, Andrew Brock, it was Team North America, so I think there was some Americans in there. So I think you had Devin from the DCHL, Matt and Ian Iverson, I think. I'm not sure. Anyways, 5th place finish for Team North America, which is absolutely amazing. Hats off to you guys. And cheers. Well done. Way to represent the continent. I know that there is a huge momentum and surge right now in Articon. Push for 2018. People are already trying to recruit players. I know myself, I will not be attending. I am getting, I said wife, but we're actually common law. We're actually getting married next year. So it will not be in the cards for me to attend Articon. Hopefully OHA George can pick up that mantle and go over there and represent the OHA. But anyways, exciting times. Looks like it was a stunning success. Things ran smoother this year from what I could interpret, just from the comments and things that were posted. I guess there was more staff, and poor James wasn't running around trying to do everything on his own. So kudos to you. Great job. Really proud of you guys for taking it to the Worlds there. You know, getting 5th is awesome. Great job. Next, obviously, is Nova. As I've talked about here, I'm still working away on some stuff for that. The video I talked about previously for the display board is going to be coming. As I had said last week, I didn't want to be jumping on the Nova bandwagon and stealing any thunder, so I just wanted to let them have the moment, let the content speak for itself on that, and then we'll post our stuff up shortly here. So I will have some videos coming up. There's lots going on in the forge, lots on the painting desk, lots getting built, and plenty of pints being drank. So as far as that goes too, obviously our event, super pleased about the outcome there. I think we're at 10 or 11 or 12 confirmed attendees for the tournament, which is great. I mean, we've never run a tournament before. We didn't know what to expect. It's still open. We are only able to accommodate 16, possibly 20. So if you're interested in coming to Chatham, Ontario, check out our group. Check out the Scouring the West Farthing. It is our first tournament. See if you can make it. We'd be happy to have you. If we do get a spike where we need to accommodate, 4 more players, then we're going to do our best. But as of right now, it's 16 slots. We've got some pretty terrific prizes lined up. Some exciting stuff. Some goodies coming home from Nova, hopefully, that are going to be included in the prizes. So really excited to share that with you guys and take you along for that journey. So tournament pack, now that Evan is back on Canadian soil, he is going to be working away on that, I'm sure. We'll be looking forward to that, and we'll get it posted up just as quick as possible. So thank you very much for joining the OHA today for Pints and Paints. And cheers, boys. Have a great day. Happy hobbying. Hope it's a productive one. Don't force it. Make sure you stay hydrated as well. Hydration is key. Always be hydrated. This is OHA Jason. See you next week.